Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sterling High School Board of Ed meeting for October 1st, 2020. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and the moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, Ms. Augustine, opening statement.
Public notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act has been faxed and emailed by the Board Secretary on May 12, 2020 to the Courier Post and posted on the school's bulletin board. Notice was also faxed and emailed to the Borough Clerks of Pinella, Laurel Springs, Magnolia, Summerdale, and Stratford.
Roll call vote for attendance, please.
Mrs. Berkeley? Here. Mr. Clark?
Here.
Mrs. Miller? Here. Mrs. Oxenbrandt? Here. Mr. Radcliffe? I do not see him. Did anybody hear from him? Mr. Sims is absent today. Mrs. Dale? Here. Mr. Hiltner?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you.
Mr. Nicholas is here.
Oh, why did I miss? Oh, I'm sorry. It's not on this list. Let me add that.
You okay?
She must have used a different list. Yes.
Okay. Okay, I neglected to mention at the outset of the meeting, since we are being joined by the community here, please feel free to contact us by dialing 856-882-1126 if you'd like to contribute to any portion of this meeting. You can also email us at public comments@sterling.k12.nj.us. One more time, phone number 856-882-1126 or public comments at sterling.k12.nj.us. Okay, where are we here? We're working on visitors' comments. Agenda items only, 5-minute limit. Mr. Sheehan, you on the clock? Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Hilton, we're at the 1 minute mark.
Okay, hearing none, no emails, correct, Paul?
Correct.
Okay, let's move on. Let's approve the minutes from September 17th. We need a motion, please.
So moved. Second.
Got a second? Any questions, concerns with the minutes? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Berkeley?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholas?
Yes.
Mrs. Oxenbrandt?
Yes.
Mrs. Dale?
Yes.
Mr. Hiltner?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, I understand we were expecting a phone call. I'm going to turn it over to you and you'll deal with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Hilton. All right, so for informational items, one of the events that we will be discussing tonight is a slideshow. Mr. Redmond will be calling in a couple minutes. Until he calls in, just want to share with you some information. October is Safe Schools Month, and we have some activities planned for the students that are going to build off of our orientation. We'll give them a couple minutes there. The week of October 5th is Respect Week. October 19th, School Violence Awareness. And October 26th is Red Ribbon Week. Some additional things that have been going on around Sterling. This week we announced a tech support. And Mr. Claiborne, if you don't mind, provide a little bit of information about tech support, especially in this age of remote and hybrid learning.
Yes, so we've had the email support, which is IT department at sterling.k12.nj.us, which we've used in the past spring for connections with our tech department. But we realized that we needed to continue to expand that. One of the ways was to open up a virtual lobby. So during the school day from 7:30 to 12, we have staff members that are teaching staff that one of their duties is to log into the virtual lobby and be available for students that might need those entry-level troubleshooting things. Now, they're not meant to replace a tech support person like Mr. Mays, but they can just help assist with the standard troubleshooting items that might occur in the classroom. We found that this is a common thing that districts are doing. Additionally, if you are a person that cannot connect via email or your tablet because they just simply don't connect, we did put in a direct line to our tech department, so it's a hotline, and that hotline will go directly to them by phone, and that is during the school day when they may. It's just another way to connect with
That's
us.
from the homepage, right, the website?
Both of those are listed on the homepage currently, yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Claiborne. Some highlights for our Safe Schools Month. It's our 6th year of the Stop It, which is an anonymous reporting app. Our Anti-Defamation League, No Place for Hate, we're in year 2, where we have 3 groups that are set up for equity teams. They're going to do some activities, purposeful with curriculum, student support, and restorative justice. We have poster contests, different campaigns. We have our student groups that are doing Students Against Destructive Decisions, and also student public service announcements. So it's a very good month to build off of our orientation program that we had in September. At this time, Mr. Redmond will provide us with some information about a school safety report. I'm going to put up the PowerPoint. I understand there may be a few seconds delay here for Mr. Redmond to see it, but Mr. Mays, are we ready to put Mr. Redmond through?
Yeah, I'm gonna transfer him now. I'm transferring him now.
At home, the community can see the slides. I believe it's up.
No.
It's not up. Good evening, Mr. Redmond.
Good evening, everyone.
Okay, Mr. Redmond, I have,
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
can I have your first slide up? You're welcome to go.
Okay. I hope everybody's family is well during this unprecedented time. I'm here to present the information in regards to the student safety data system. And as most board members who were there on the board in January, I believe it was, I presented the first half of last year with the SSDS report. So I'm going to begin with the program list from January to June. And as you can see, it's not as much as we had last year because of COVID-19. But we did a program, Lift Every Voice, led by No Place for Hate and the Black History Month Advisors and Committee on February 20th. We also had No Place for Hate, No Name Calling Week, and we did the Dear Esther play for No Place for Hate focus group, which was on January 2nd. So Shane, we're going to go to the next slide.
Okay.
Okay, the next slide is for the training classes, which was from January to June. And because of COVID, as I stated, we have the short items there. We had the suicide prevention training for all staff, which was on January 30th. And then we also have our school climate team meetings, which was held on January 22nd, February 26th, and then we held a virtual meeting in May 5th. And Mr. Sheehan, if you can go to that last slide.
Okay, I'm there.
These were our totals from January to June 2020. We had 4 total programs as I presented it. And as I said, one was conducted virtually. We had 2 total HIB trainings completed, as you can see there. And we had 2 total incidents occurred, 1 under the influence and 1 racial remark. And that is our SSDS report that needs to be presented for the board.
Thank you, Mr. Redmond.
No problem. Everybody stay well and be safe.
Thanks.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Redmond before he leaves? Thank you, Sean. Good job.
All right, and before.
All right, Mr. Hildner, have a good evening.
See you then.
Just a few other items of information. Progress reports will be issued on October 5th. Our virtual back-to-school night is Tuesday, October 6th at 6:30 p.m. via Microsoft Teams. Information has been distributed. I believe that there's a video coming out to give parents more clarity on how to attend via Microsoft Teams. And some good news, our food distribution numbers, we started food distribution the first Wednesday in September, so we're about 4 weeks in now. Yesterday we distributed 231 packages to students from our district here. So we appreciate our cafeteria workers in preparing those meals, and we know how important they are to our community. All right, Mr. Hildner, I'm going to turn it back to you there.
Thank you. Visitors, you may leave if you'd like. Not you, Jared, no. Okay, we have items requiring board action. Mrs. Miller, Human Resources.
I'd like to move items 1A through D, please.
Second.
Questions, comments on any? No. Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Berkeley?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholas?
Yes.
Mrs. Oxenbrand?
Yes.
Mrs. Stout?
Yes.
Mr. Hiltner?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, Mrs. Oxenbrand, Education.
Thank you. I'd like to move items 2A through C.
Second.
Any questions? I have a quick one. Jared, just pass what we just got with our other stuff here. The white one is good only for Collingswood.
Correct.
And we'll get a white one every subsequent home game, is that the idea?
Every home, or every school is required to provide and print new cards for their players' parents for every football game.
Yeah, but I mean, we as board members.
Yes, sir, you as board members will be supplied, Mr. Manlove will take care of it.
So we'll just wait to get them at the next board meeting, I guess, for the next game, whatever?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and the green one, what is that for?
That was the old Colonial Conference pass. So if a school is charging, that will be your pass to get in.
This will get us in as a board member through the gate in the first
Correct.
place?
Correct.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
But only Colonial Conference.
Yes.
We
So-
okay?
We should bring both when we come, is what you're saying?
Not here. We're going to take you. We know you are. When you go somewhere else, yes, you should take both.
Okay, we need a roll call vote, right?
Yes. Mrs. Berkeley?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholas?
Yes.
Mrs. Oxenbrand?
Yes.
Mrs. Stout?
Yes.
Mr. Hiltner?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. No addendum, right, Matt?
No addendum.
Okay, Ms. Augustine.
All right, there are a few informational items there. Activities, account reconciliation, the award letter that I believe I mentioned at the last meeting about the safety incentive program. And what's also included this time is the budget preparation calendar, what we hope to, our guidelines as far as the timeline. And so that's included in there for you for reference. And also the information on the virtual workshop, which is going to be October 20th through the 22nd. So you should be getting an email from them. And Kristen Coco in my office is very good with handling any kind of questions or dealing with them too if something comes up and you have any problems. So if you do, you can email me or Kristen to help you out when the time comes.
Question, when should we expect to get that email?
Well, today's the 1st, so probably by next week sometime, by the end of next week.
And the agenda hasn't been published, is that correct at this point?
I haven't seen it, and usually they'll send out some kind of email at blast or something to say that something's available, but I can check on that for you and let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we need a motion for the bill list, please.
So moved.
Second.
Questions?
Yeah. Bill 1, I recall we talked about this in, not Bill 1, excuse me, is it Bill 1 or Bill 2? I'm sorry. Yeah, the Dell computers. So I know we had a balance that we were waiting to purchase. Was this that final balance that we were purchasing for the new computers?
Bill, this one?
It could be.
Bill 2.
It's Bill 2, yeah. Second batch of teacher, and then there was, I'm sorry, I actually wrote it down.
You're talking about check 17309. It's the code 0260.
Second batch, is that teacher devices, 20, second batch.
47.
The second batch of staff laptops?
Yeah, it's on the second page.
Yeah.
Page 2. No, toward the bottom of page 2. Bill 017341, dated September 16th. Student one-to-one laptops.
Student.
Yeah.
Yeah, 143,000. How many units were purchased there?
I don't have the total that we did for the entire order in order to replenish all the student ones is normally around 250.
Because I remember from the summer, we were talking about this.
Yeah,
this
we
is that
only
second-
did,
yeah.
that's the balance of
That's
it,
the
yeah.
balance.
We only
So
did a
for the
portion
year, that
of
should
it.
be the Dell balance for the year until.
Yes,
Yeah.
until, summer,
Yep.
again, to replenish
Yep,
another
exactly.
grade level.
Now, I remember talking about that, so I just wanted to confirm. Thank you.
That clear, Sean?
Yep.
Anybody else? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Berkeley?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholas?
Yes.
Mrs. Oxenbrand?
Yes.
Mrs. Dale?
Yes.
Mr. Helmer?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, we have some additional board items, board action items for which we'll need a motion.
So moved. Second.
Questions, concerns, comments?
I just had a question on the student activities. Was that a misprint or was it class of 2014 to class of 2024?
It's not, I can answer that because we've done this before. What happens is after 10 years,
Uh-huh.
if there's still money left in an account from a particular class, and we've reached out, nobody's come back to us, that money is automatically reverted to the class of 10 years later.
So we let it sit for 10 years?
Excuse me?
We let it sit in an account for 10 years?
Yep.
It's a student activity
Student
account, it's not
activity
our, the students raised it, they were in charge of it, and they reached out, no one,
Is that just our policy or is that?
that's common for.
It's a common
yeah.
policy?
Mhm. Yeah,
Right,
because
they didn't
we
have
can't
any-
use the
they held
funds,
their
it has to be
reunions.
student.
No, I get it, they can't
Yeah.
use it, I just think it's a long period of time for the money to sit. Because, when somebody came in 8 years, in 8 years, they wanted to use it, like you said, for reunion, could they do that?
Not for that's not a reunion type account. That would have been an
Right.
account that was for a particular group, it could have been a club or something like that, it wasn't a reunion type.
Oh, it
Usually your
wasn't-
foundations
okay.
do
No,
something
so,
else.
I mean, but they can't technically, no one can technically use it 2 years later, 3 years later, 4 years later. There's nothing that's gonna be able to be used for because
Yeah.
they can't use it, so I think 10 years.
Class needs to use it or lose it, pretty much.
Right, so I just-
Whatever, class of 2014 did not spend all their monies, so therefore it sits in an account.
And how often does this happen every year that there's classes that leave money?
It could happen. I don't remember what the scenario was last year, but,
I haven't seen one for a couple of years.
yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think it's.
I just don't know if it was
yeah.
normal, I just thought that
About
was
the time that I've been here.
So to add to that, the class that just graduated that, didn't have a senior year have, would they still be able to use that this year? Like the yearbooks came in and we could get them together in November? Would they still be allowed to use that money if there was money in that account? The class
Well, it
that-
would depend if that's a club account, say
Right.
it's for the chess club
It's
or
not,
something.
okay, okay.
It's gotta be specifically used for that club.
Take that back.
Alright, thanks.
Okay, Ms. Dunn? Good. Any other questions? Okay, roll call vote.
Question?
Mrs. Berkeley?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholas?
Yes.
Mrs. Oxenbrand?
Yes.
Mrs. Dale?
Yes.
Mr. Helmer?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, and you have an addendum, correct, Joanne?
Yes.
Additional board items. Someone please, motion?
Motion, second.
Questions?
Yeah, for 2A, what is the license renewals? Because the other one says for 365, what are the license renewals for that first item?
That was related to the Office 365 as well, correct, Paul?
Yeah, so the renewals are the renewing of our Office 365 licenses, and then also our Windows 10 licenses for the operating
Okay.
system, so they're both associated.
Okay.
And then the licenses you see there, we need some additional licenses.
You purchased.
That was the second one, yeah, it was additional ones.
I don't know, is there any way we ever get like unit items with some of these line items with that? Is that something that's possible so that we can see, how many licenses it was or units it was?
Well, a lot of that detail might be written on the purchase orders, and it
Okay.
all depends on whoever was putting in that requisition at the time, if they're putting all that detail on there. So that's on the purchase order. So, I mean, if you notice that and you want to shoot me an email, and as far as the quantities
Okay.
you want to know, I can respond to
Yeah,
that.
just curiosity thing.
Okay, Sean? Any other questions?
Me. Are we, as a board, going to publicly acknowledge Mr. Sims in some way with a plaque or a gift or something? No.
How about an extra long executive session?
Okay, then we should be with profound regret. Like that word added to it.
Okay, roll call vote.
Mrs. Berkeley?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholas?
Yes.
Mrs. Oxenbrand?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowd?
Yes.
And Mr. Hiltner?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Committee reports, back to you, Mrs. Okerson, Brand Education.
Thank you. We finally had our meeting last night. We discussed a whole bunch of things, including our equity feedback. Got some great response from, it was the kids and staff, right, about what they'd like to see going forward here at Sterling. We got some information about our Florida trip as far as what we can expect going forward on that. We talked about how we're going to do our educator evaluation. We talked about Linkit. We talked about SSDS and our QSEC visit. And do you want to talk a little bit about the visit we had from the state?
Yes, Sterling High School invited the Camden County Department of Health to come in and kind of do an evaluation of our classrooms and our school setting. It was very insightful, very detailed response that we got back. And the person who came to evaluate our school was actually the person who's assigned to Sterling as an investigator. So in the event that we have a COVID case, now they can apply our seating charts, a picture of our classrooms to a particular case and determine whether there would be close contacts or not. So we were glad that we had them in, and the feedback that we got from them is very valuable for ourselves and our community.
And we were the first high school to initiate that, were we not? Did you tell me?
I would be hard pressed to find if there was another school that invited someone in. I think that a few other high schools have commented through various relationships that we have from the high schools about what we're doing and why do we think that it's working for us.
But I compliment both of you because that's very proactive on our part, and I think that's terrific.
Thank you.
Okay, BJ? All right, I see no human resources or operations, so let's go to visitors' comments, open end, 5-minute limit.
Okay, Mr. Hiltner, our 1 minute is up.
Thank you. Nothing, Paul?
No.
All right, hearing and or seeing nothing, let's move on to old and new business. I'd like to kick this off if I might. Paul Sims and I go back to the mid-'80s, I think, when he was a freshman at Sterling. I think I had him in English. Believe it or not, I had him in an English class. I've known him and his family. His mom worked here for many years. His mom was ended up being the superintendent secretary, I believe, right? Secretary for many years, a variety of capacities. Several brothers also went through Sterling. Just a very staunch, supportive Sterling High School family. And I really am sad to see Paul go, but I know he's been thinking about this. And I know he'd be the kind of guy that would not want any kind of hullabaloo made about him, but you were going to do something, I think, or no?
We'll find something appropriate for Paul.
We'll do it through Skype. We'll do it through
We'll do it
Skype,
through
right?
Skype.
See if we can get on.
He may not connect, but yeah.
He was a mentor to me. He was a rock when it came to negotiations. He's going to be a tough man to replace with negotiations. Hard worker, good guy, Sterling through and through, and we'll miss him. Sean, you're up.
I really have no comments. I just think that everything's going smoothly. Like I said, I have a student here. It's going on very well. I know he had a couple hiccups. I'm glad to hear about this virtual lobby. He was marked as absent, but he was actually there, so they quickly corrected that. But I know there's little hiccups like that. I think that's a good idea to address that instead of having a full IT panic. It's just a nice way to put someone in the right direction.
Mrs. Berkeley.
Well, I'm going to turn to sports. I had the opportunity to go to the varsity girls soccer game here at Sterling. It was awesome to be here with 3 games going on, field hockey, JV, and varsity soccer girls. People outside practicing, seeing people on the field. It was wonderful. It was awesome. It was set nice. I couldn't be happier. And then I also went to the boys game. It was away at Triton. Same thing. It was great. The boys varsity and JV were there. It is so nice to see see people outside. I can't wait for the season this week to start. I am so excited for that. Sorry, I'm just a sports mom.
Thank you. Mrs. Odenson-Rack.
I'm going to piggyback on your comments about Paul. I've been on board with Paul for over 10 years, and his professionalism and what he brought to this board will be sorely missed. So if you're listening, Paul, enjoy.
I'm not listening. He doesn't log in. He can't figure it out. No.
Thank you. Mr. Carter.
Just a couple things. First, I just want to reiterate what was already mentioned by Ms. Odenson, which was the fact that you opened up the doors to Sterling to look for opportunities of improvement or reassurance. You should all be commended for, because once you open that door, it's unknown what the outcome will be. And your confidence to do that speaks volumes of your passion and dedication for keeping everyone in that building safe. So kudos to all of you. And then since I'll be a sports dad, Sterling ran cross country, and I would just mention that there were 8 schools there. It went off, in my opinion, without a hitch. They had everything broken up. Everybody was able to, even at the starting line, stay 6 feet apart because they had 2 schools run at a time. So it seems like it's going well. That's all.
Thank you. Mrs. Miller.
I just want to commend you guys on bringing the Board of Health in. That's not an easy task because, as Jason said, you open the door, you don't know what's going to happen, but you don't close the door after they leave. Once you let them in and they get their foot in the door, they're usually easy to come back for things. So I'm glad that it went so well, and that gives them reason to not hurry up and come back, and it makes Sterling a better example to the other schools. So I think that's great. I'm not saying anything about Paul for leaving us.
Thank you, Mrs. Stout.
All right, I have a few things today. So I want to commend Sterling for having the SAT still taking place this Saturday for some normalcy. I know a lot of students haven't taken them and a lot of schools have canceled them. So it's good that they are having them this weekend. I have never been able, which is a good thing, to be able to utilize the food services for free reduced lunches. So we are doing this Wednesday thing only for the fact that someone said it's keeping them in business also. They're keeping them things. So we did it, and I'm going to tell you, my 17-year-old son loves the food. They give you half a gallon of milk, and they give you juice boxes and cereal and vegetables and fruit. I mean, it really is really a good thing. So that's appreciated. I wanted to ask how the teachers, kids are going with the when they're in school? How's that working out?
We've had a great start of the school year. Our attendance is excellent, with our staff and our students. As Mr. Claiborne had mentioned, there are glitches that we maybe weren't aware of that we're becoming aware of, and again, we want to try to improve on those areas. And the feedback we're getting from the teachers is they thought they'd be stronger with the students in class, and they're actually noticing the opposite. They're actually stronger now on remote learning, which a year ago, teachers weren't very good at remote learning. So we took an area that was a weakness, addressed it, professional development, brought some attention to it, and they really think that's a strength now. And if you walk the halls, it's quite impressive when you go through the hallway and you see a classroom where there's 8 kids sitting in seats, socially distanced, and then you see the Teams screen up, and there's just that interaction. It's pretty amazing. So never imagined it, but I think we're making the best of the situation.
But my question though,
Oh, I'm
was,
sorry.
that's okay, that was a great answer for that though. The teachers who have their children in here, how's that working?
Great. We started this week, and there's a couple different layers there to look at it. The teachers are so relieved to have that opportunity and peace of mind to bring their students to Sterling, their children to Sterling High School. So out of the 15 teachers who expressed interest, this was our first week, and we probably, I think, had 6 or 7 of the staff members bring their students in, and I'm one of them. And my youngest, who's 9, really enjoys the structure, the educational environment, and her siblings who are home got much more work done without her. So we anticipate those numbers growing a little bit, and it also offers a great opportunity for our instructor, who is a college student, who's an education major, who is yet to stand in front of the class because of COVID. So this has given her an opportunity to strengthen her skills and her relationships with students, being in front of them. So it's been great. The students come in with their own work, and they have their own schedules, and the staff members come down, take them for a break, or take them for lunch, or whatever it may be. So I'm glad you asked that question. We are thrilled to be able to offer this to our staff. Again, peace of mind, anxious times, and now they know that there's some supervision where the students get some work done.
Matt, what room was repurposed for that?
So in our media center, we have a main presentation lab. We have Annex 1 and Annex 2. Annex 2 is the closest room to our main entryway, and there's plenty of room there. So we were able to accommodate, great accommodation, great location, so that there's really limited interaction, if any interaction at all, with the high school students. So it is an ideal open area room for our students that we have.
All right, I have 2 more things, and I know I never talk right. So Magnolia is handling a lot of Comcast work, a lot of Comcast issues that has that been noticed in the teachers?
We actually had more problems from Stratford this week than we did.
Yeah, I saw a couple
But
of
yeah. So the students are doing a great job communicating with their teachers, and the teachers know to be flexible,
Okay.
and it's just, so we know it's there, but I think everybody is communicating well and being flexible.
Okay, and my last thing is just a little bit of an angst is that the senior, the trip information was sent to the students and not to the parents. So I would just suggest, or have a suggestion, that maybe some information is cascaded to the parents of the students, and I know we have that information because we uploaded all that onto the, what do we call it, the OnCourse. So it's all there, so we have that technology, but rolling it out to the students is, they're still minors, they're still, so just if that, that email was also sent to the parents, just a suggestion.
We will follow up and make sure the parents get that information, and we'll add information that we covered in our education meeting about the insurance offer that World Class Travel is
Yeah, there's a
making.
lot of things. There is a Facebook group for parents of, we're just trying to do things for the kids outside of the box. So like we did a basket, because I have a senior, so we did we each took a different student and we delivered something before school, one of their favorite things and stuff like that. So that communication is like one parent will post something, but there's a lot of parents who are not getting information. So I being one of them because I have boys, so.
Thank you, we'll address that.
Okay.
Actually, just one thing just came up to mind with all the athletic activities. Will there be any night events, or will everything be daytime?
Yes, well, there will be, yes.
Okay.
Yes, so we'll have the traditional football games, and then later down the season, the soccer usually tries to
Okay,
get.
I didn't know, because I wasn't aware, I thought the game was Friday, I didn't realize it was Saturday. And I didn't know if that was something to do with the regulations, like they couldn't have night games or something, it might have been the day.
There's less officials for whatever reason. Everybody's starting and everybody wanted to play on Friday, so they contacted schools and requested some to move.
Yeah.
Okay, any other comments, questions? All right, we have a need for executive, correct? We have to do the motion first?
Yes.
Someone please make a motion.
Second.
Second. We excusing, who we excusing here?
Mr. Mays will
Mr. Mays, Mr. Claiborne,
will
and,
turn off the mics.
yeah, turn off the mics, and then Ms. Augustine and Mr. Stephen once we're in executive.
You want me to wait till he finishes reading the
Yeah,
thing?
correct.
All right, whereas NJSA 10:4-12 allows for public lobbying on the closed session during a public meeting, and whereas the Board of Ed Sterling High School deemed it necessary to go into closed session to discuss certain matters for example from the public, and whereas the length of the executive session estimated to last approximately 20 minutes, after which public meeting and board shall reconvene and proceed with business. Now therefore be it resolved, the Board of Ed Sterling High School will go into closed session for the following reasons. 2019-2020 superintendent evaluation.
Do you have a motion?
So moved. We are.
switch the names.
Joanne, it was Mr. Nicholas, Ms. Dow was the motion, the second, 7:49 to
Come out.
Leave
come out
it.
of exec.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, I guess we need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Got both?
Yep.
Good to go, all in favor?
Aye.
Good job, not everybody coming in.
Mr. Hilton,
Yes.
if you want,
Paul, do you have to mute this?
I can send this tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
I think we've done this now.